Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head.
The hug that broke the sky. Why did Jungkook collapse in Taehyung's arms that day? The morning soul welcomed its son back from duty. The sky didn't shine, it trembled. A reunion was expected, celebration anticipated. But no one, no fan, no journalist, not even fate itself, predicted what would truly unfold. A silent earthquake of emotion, a hug that shattered every mask and left behind only raw, human truth. It wasn't just that Jungkook cried, it was how he collapsed. Like a dam breaking. Like a soul unraveling. And the one who caught him? Kim Taehyung, silent, steady, and suddenly there, like a ghost from a dream Jungkook had tried too long to forget. No one had known Taehyung would appear that day. Not the crowd. Not the media. Not even Jungkook, whose entire body seemed to freeze the moment he saw him. Their eyes met, just for a moment, but it was enough. Jungkook's shoulders crumbled. His breath hitched. Then, as if gravity itself had betrayed him, he folded into Taehyung's waiting arms. And then the tears came. Not tears of joy. Not relief. Something older. Something heavier. Something sacred. Those who stood near whispered that the hug lasted longer than it should have, minutes. And during those minutes, the world stopped spinning. Fans didn't scream. Reporters forgot their questions. Cameras kept rolling, but the moment felt untouched, unfilmable. Real. Something had broken. Or maybe, something long broken had finally been allowed to fall apart. Taehyung's hand cradled the back of Jungkook's head like he was holding a memory, fragile, precious, nearly gone. He whispered something. Nobody could hear it at first. But later, fans with audio enhancement claimed they caught the words, "I'm here now. I won't leave again." And that was when even Taehyung cried. So what happened? What pain, so enormous, so tightly caged, could burst forth with just one embrace? What words had been buried beneath uniforms, schedules, silence? What promises had been made, then broken, then reborn? Some say it was guilt. Others, longing. A few dared to wonder if it was love, not the shiny, marketed kind, but something old and private, forged in late-night studio confessions and hotel balcony talks when the world was asleep. One anonymous source from inside HYBE hinted that Jungkook had carried a particular burden during his enlistment. He was afraid of coming back to nothing, of finding that the group, the bonds, the meaning, it was all gone, the source said. He's the youngest, but that doesn't mean he feels the lightest. Sometimes it means he hides the most. Another layer was added when fans noticed a soft whisper from Jungkook caught by a nearby mic after the hug. Just 2 words, barely audible. Why now? Those 2 words carried the weight of a decade. Had they drifted apart before the military? Had something been left unsaid for years? Was this reunion not only a welcome, but a reckoning? Their silence over the past year had been interpreted as distance. Now it seemed more like emotional exile. Some insiders claimed the group had grown apart, not out of hatred but exhaustion. Sometimes, said one veteran Idol coach, you don't fight your members. You just stop calling. You just stop showing up. And that silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. Yet when Taehyung appeared that day, unannounced, unguarded, it felt as if he'd chosen not to be silent anymore. Media analysts tried to interpret the moment. PR strategists debated whether this was spontaneous or scripted. But most agreed, you can't fake that kind of breakdown. No choreography could have produced the way Jungkook's knees gave out. No script could have written the tremble in Taehyung's jaw. It was real. And rare. Veteran columnist Lee Ji-won said it best. We've seen BTS win awards, break records, carry nations. But we've never seen them fall like this. And in that fall they reminded us they're not symbols. They're people. In the wake of the moment, fans flooded social media not just with theories, but with love. They trended hashtags like hashtag it was real, hashtag Taekook truth, and hashtag we cry with UJK. Some even created digital altars pairing images of the hug with poetry, prayers, or just the simple message, you're not alone. Still, no official statement has been released. Not from HYBE. Not from Jungkook. Not from Taehyung. And maybe that's for the best. Because perhaps this wasn't a statement to be clarified, but a story to be felt. A story of 2 boys who became men under a spotlight that never dimmed. A story of bonds tested by fame, by silence, by distance, and maybe, just maybe, healed by one embrace. So what really happened that day? We may never know. But we saw it. We felt it. And for those few sacred minutes, the world remembered that behind every legend is a beating heart, sometimes breaking, sometimes healing, but always, unmistakably human. After that day, silence became louder than ever. Jungkook wasn't seen for days. No airport glimpses. No surprise V-Live. No selfies. It was as though he had vanished back into the ache he had tried so long to carry alone. And Taehyung? He too disappeared, leaving behind only a single photo posted late at night, a blurry shot of a sky tinged orange, captionless. Fans knew. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a reckoning. It was the resurfacing of something long buried beneath smiles, rehearsals, award shows, and uniforms. It was the truth rising like a ghost through the cracks of curated perfection. And perhaps it was a love letter. Unwritten, unspoken, but undeniable. Behind closed doors, some insiders began to speak. Carefully. Quietly. As if any louder would break the spell of what had just happened. There was a moment during their last group dinner before enlistment, one staff member recalled, when Jungkook said, "I don't know who I am without you guys." He looked at Taehyung when he said it. But Taehyung didn't meet his gaze. Some say that moment left a crack. And some cracks never mend until they're allowed to burst. Another staff member whispered that Taehyung had written letters never sent. He was always the poetic one. But he feared saying too much. Or saying it too late. So when he appeared that day at Jungkook's discharge, maybe it wasn't a surprise. Maybe it was an apology. A confession. A promise rewritten not in ink, but in the way his arms wrapped around the boy who once called him Hyung, who once said in a late-night interview, "He understands me even when I don't speak." But something had changed in Jungkook too. The tears were not just for missing someone. They were for missed time. For words swallowed. For feelings pushed away for the sake of moving forward, performing, surviving. The hug was not just reunion, it was release. And the world watched it happen. Cameras caught it. But what they couldn't capture was the moment right after. When, after the tears dried and the embrace loosened, Jungkook pulled back, eyes red, and said, according to one lip-reading army, "Don't disappear again." It wasn't a command. It was a plea. And Taehyung nodded, his smile sad. Not because he didn't mean it, but because maybe he'd already tried to promise that once and failed. Social media swelled with interpretations. Fanfiction writers found fuel for 1,000 pages. Analysts dissected every blink, every breath. But none of them could explain the weight of that hug better than Jungkook's own face. It was the face of someone who had finally allowed himself to feel. And to be held. As days passed, silence lingered. But it wasn't empty, it was sacred. A quiet held by millions who now understood, not everything needs a press release. Some truths are meant to be felt, not explained. Still, a question remains. Did the hug mark the end of something? Or the beginning? Taehyung's Instagram bio, changed quietly days after the event, gave a whisper of an answer. It simply read, "Sometimes you just have to go back to where you left your heart." And Jungkook? He returned with a post just as subtle, a photo of his old childhood bedroom wall, where a worn poster of BTS's early days still hung. No caption. Just the memories, frayed, faded, but still there. In the end, maybe that's all any of us are, faded memories waiting to be remembered again. So when people ask, why did Jungkook cry that day? Maybe the real question is, how long had he been waiting for someone to come back for him? And Taehyung, despite the silence, the distance, the years, did. And sometimes that's enough to break a heart wide open and let the light in. And just like that, a single hug changed everything, not because of hype, but because of a sincerity that couldn't be hidden. Jungkook and Taehyung showed us that behind the dazzling world of K-pop, there are hearts that truly beat. Thank you for staying with us at K-pop Update Hub. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because in our next video, we'll be back with the hottest, most viral, and most emotional updates from the world of K-pop. See you soon, K-pop fam. Purple Heart.
Take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.